Thank you for joining episode 2, part 2 of No Filter Femme. Today, we are talking about continuing the conversation about do Black women deserve good things? Do Black women deserve good things? If you didn't watch episode 2, part 1, go back and watch it for context. You don't want to miss any of the gems that were dropped in that episode. Buckle in and get ready to enjoy the ride. Dating and marriage and our familial relationships. And it goes back to the last episode again around boundaries.
Yeah.
And you can't set, and we may have done these episodes out of order because how can we talk about boundaries when we haven't talked about value and worth?
That's a great point.
Because I cannot set a boundary. I'm not going to set a boundary in an area where I have not deemed myself deserving of having it.
That's a great point.
I'm going to continue to let you walk over me, job. Mm-hmm. I'm going to continue to let you give me more work, stretch assignments, and no more pay.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to allow you to put more on my shoulders. Government, Black women, the most educated demographic and, the most overworked, and also leading the charge in representing, the Black vote. We take on all of these responsibilities for community so broadly. And it's not that, and a lot of it is because, these things are just important to us. But the other part of it is because we haven't found ourselves deserving enough to require somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it, because we've had some recent movements, even within the feminine space, where we've just kind of leaned back and said, let us know how that goes.
Let the chips fall where they may. With those children. Listen, trust this, that when you heal through your trauma, you heal through your hurt, when you go through the work of really learning yourself and what you want, and you set those boundaries and you start saying no more, people are not, listen, I promise you, the world is not going to implode.
No, it's not. Everybody's still breathing, right?
Everybody's going to still be breathing. People will figure it out.
Yes.
They will get it done.
Yes.
But until we require it, they're going to continue to throw it over the fence in our laps.
Right.
Until we require. Even, listen, I have an 18-year-old. And, it's, parenting an adult is a different experience. Mm-hmm. And what I'm realizing is even in that relationship, it is setting boundaries. That, before I'm leading in front, because I'm guiding. Once you assert your dominance and your majority and your maturity that you may or may not really have, now I'm leading from the back.
Yeah.
I'm following your lead, baby.
Yeah. Where are we going?
You love it, I like it. You like it, I love it. Mm-hmm. Where are we going? Now, I'm going to still give you wisdom. And I'm still going to, when you ask for it.
Yeah.
But me loving you looks different now in terms of I love you enough to allow you to grow through your own pain.
And don't you think that's really love, though? Because it then allows that person to build and develop some tools in their tool belt. So then when another situation down the road comes across, it's like, you know what? I remember when I dealt with that. I need to avoid that.
It is, but we don't see it that way because, again, I think as Black women, we think our life is one of servitude all the time. And
why is that?
I think there's a lot of reasons for it. And I think most of which is, again, we don't give ourselves enough time to breathe and think. I think I heard Myron Golden say this, that the hardest activity to take on is that of truly thinking, contemplating. The easier is just doing stuff. Okay, I'm going to take this on. Like, okay, daughter, like, I'll drive you all around town. What you need to do, I'm not, whatever you need of me, I'm going to be that. Husband, whatever you need, I'm going to be that. Job, whatever you need, I'm going to be that. Mom, whatever you need, I'm going to be that. Me doing things, that fills my cup because I'm checking things off my list. And I'm feeling like I have some sense of control because now, and I need to be needed. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, you're right.
I need to be needed.
Yeah.
And so that's fulfilling that for me. But I'm not giving myself, in doing all of the doing, I'm not giving myself enough time to do this work, which is think, contemplating on what matters to me and what I need my world to adjust, how I need it to adjust so that I can have those things. But yet I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm lashing out, I'm exhausted, I'm depressed. And I got to get on these medications. I got to do all of these things just to get through the days.
Yeah.
Because I refuse to do the work to define my value, to define what I'm deserving of, set boundaries, and let the chips fall where they may.
You know what I really love? So that's a great segue to question number 2. In which ways are we contributing to our life narrative? So everything that you just mentioned, I love that because it takes time to think, because it means you have to stop everything else. There's no multitasking going on. It's not you're cooking dinner, you just put a load of clothes in the wash, got pumpkins, homework, we got to go over that. Or, we got a situation with the older adult child where now these are very expensive decisions that they're making and potentially consequences, or they need my counsel and wisdom about something, or I can see that train wreck coming and I need to figure out, am I actually going to help them out of this, or am I going to step back and allow them to really have this experience? So that's before you get to work. That's before you get to any family members outside of your immediate household. All of that activity and energy is the doing. But so much of the truly feminine is the being. And so that thinking that you were just talking about, I do think for Black women has escaped us much more than it has not escaped us. And so if that is knowing my worth and that I'm going to carve out 10 minutes in the morning, this is my sacred 10-minute time. And everybody in the household, I'm talking about the pets, everybody know. Everybody. Don't ask to go outside. Don't ask to get fed. Don't ask for no booty. Don't ask for nothing. You should have done the tap, tap, tap before my 10-minute window. Okay, because you knew this was my 10-minute window. Okay. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. So
No.
The 10-minute window.
That's it.
I'm feeling very personal with that tap, tap, tap. Okay. But that 10-minute window of I am worth the world shutting down.
Yeah.
As it relates to what I need to actively participate in the doing. And carve out this 10-minute, I am worth this 10-minute time of being.
Yes.
And if that is being in that I am thinking of a master plan, or if it's that being of I really would like to pursue fill in the blank, or I really need to take a moment to set a healthy boundary with this individual, whatever that being looks like.
And
or
it may be nothing.
I was just getting ready to say, or it's doing nothing.
Yeah. Clear, like just being silent.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us don't even know the sound of our own thoughts. We're terrified of getting still because we're terrified of what those thoughts might, what that serenity might yield.
Ooh.
And that was a truth for me because, I'm a beach person. So my morning routine is to get up and, do my exercise, walk to the beach. And most days I try to spend at least 10, 15 minutes on the sand, with my little notebook that I put in my walking bag and just either journaling or just meditating.
Okay.
And clearing my head.
Yeah.
And I found when I'm doing that regularly and consistently, I'm better at everything.
That's good.
I'm better at everything.
Really?
I'm less shaken. I'm so solid at the core because I've started my day with serenity. I've started my day with reflection. I've started my day with meditation. I've started my day with stillness.
Okay.
Versus, the alarm clock's going off and you're up and you're running and you just get busy with the business of doing.
Yeah.
And you have not considered yourself at all.
At all. I love that. I love that because I do think we think in our mind, I don't have 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, you do. You do. But here's the thing. We tell ourselves that, again, because we are afraid of what it will reveal. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we are honestly afraid of being with ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's easier for me to find worth being something for you.
Yeah.
But can I do it for me?
Yeah.
Because the reason why I'm not doing for me might be scary. It might be a scary, scary truth that I have to face.
And how do we face that? I remember years ago, Oprah making this statement years and years ago, and it has stuck with me ever since. She said, I just am sitting with my thoughts. And initially, I wasn't quite sure how that would apply to me. But I think what I hear you saying is there is a trepidation of sitting with our thoughts. Because what are the thoughts going to reveal?
What are they going to reveal?
Yeah.
Yeah. And where are they going to lead me? Because, it might lead me into some realization that I need some healing, that I need some therapy, that, I might need to, prune some relationships, and so to avoid, I think, the work of life, especially for Black women, it's easier to find validation and praise and affirmation in the doing.
Yeah. I get that.
In the doing.
I get that. That's even an aha moment for me because I would say easily I have attached a lot of my worth and my identity and how I have solved something for someone else. Mm-hmm. I take great pride in that I have solved this thing. Yeah. I have resolved this. I have provided counsel for that, as opposed to, and that's fine.
And necessary.
Necessary,
levels,
but
yes.
in moderation.
In moderation, not to the detriment of you.
Yes.
And that is where we live from that space, where we do that to the detriment of what we need.
Yeah.
From ourselves. Forget about what we need from other people. What do I need from me?
Yes.
Melia, I need you to sit with these thoughts. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. I need you to explore this side of yourself. Right? To answer some questions about what are the ultimate questions. Who are you and why are you here?
Yeah.
And we don't give ourselves a luxury. So we say, do Black women deserve good things? And that third question before we go to the speed round is, are you ready to accept love, success, and the happiness you deserve? And that is going to be contingent upon whether or not you've done that work.
Yeah.
Because while we're speeding through life and we're not taking the time for reflection and taking the time to sit with our thoughts and taking the time to explore our likes and our dislikes, our traumas and our healings, how can we accept love fully? Mm-hmm. How can we define what success means for me? If we're not doing that work, we're letting external things define that for us. Mm-hmm. And I think we always, or for the most part, a lot of times end up on the losing side of that.
We do. And not only do we not accept it, there's no room. Mm-hmm. There is no capacity. There is no room at the end. The bottle is filled all the way up to the top. It's not just half full. Baby, it's overflowing. There's no room. Like, that's how I made the shift from dating to really accepting and allowing love. Yeah. I had allowed and accepted success. I had allowed and accepted a version of happiness, not necessarily joy, but I had allowed a version of happiness, which was contingent upon, but did I fix that for that person? Did I resolve that for that person? Did I respond to that person? Did I help out that person? And I was never that person. Let me not say never. Oftentimes I was not that person. Yeah. But my identity was locked and loaded into your life, your success, and how we can make this happen for you. Mm-hmm. As opposed to that being part of it, but not the totality of it. So when it came to love for me, I quit my job. I moved from DC. I sold my house and I moved to North Carolina, and people thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
Why would you leave a great job? Why would you sell a beautiful home? And what's in North Carolina? Like, you're in DC, like, this is DC.
Yeah.
Why would you leave DC? And that very conscious decision on my part, which took me a while to get to, I think really, now that I think about it, I had never really considered it. Maybe I was starting to begin that I was worthy of a love that required me to make some real changes.
Yeah.
I was very proud of my success.
Yeah.
I was very proud of how I showed up and how I could move about and, vacation, and I had purchased my own home. I was very proud of all of these things.
Yeah.
But all of those things also required me to do a lot that then would not allow love, which I really did desire, into my life. And so, that question of, are you ready? I think also has a subtext of, and what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to adjust? What are you willing to change for the love, the success, the happiness that you deserve?
That you deserve. Because you do deserve good things.
You do deserve good things.
Black woman, you deserve good things. And we're going to segue into our No Filter Flash speed question round. Now, listen, this is the round where we pull random questions out of our nice bowl here. We have no idea what they are. And they are, by and large, meant to be the provocative. Yes.
Provocative.
So you went first on last episode.
Yes.
So I'll take the first one now. And let's see. I'm nervous.
I'm
I'm always nervous.
Drum roll, please.
This one's long.
Okay.
How do you handle conversations about menopause and its effects on your life?
Now listen, menopause can be an entire segment.
Yeah. I will say this, that I am just starting to understand, I'm at the tip of the iceberg
Okay.
of what this means for me at 43.
Mm-hmm.
Even the terminology, let alone sort of what's happening to my physical body.
Yeah.
So I'm not really answering a whole lot of questions about it because I'm just understanding it for myself. What I will say about, perimenopause, and all of the things that surround it is when I realized that I am here.
You have arrived.
I have arrived. I mean, it set me back a little bit. And because, again, so much of who we are as women is defined in our reproductive identity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I didn't even realize that.
Yes, me either.
And, I am one of those people, I had a child at 25. My husband and I struggled for years and years and years to have a child together and couldn't. And we were blessed with the ability to adopt a beautiful baby who's now 4. And so I have no desire to have any more children. In fact, people were like, we're still praying for you to have another baby. I'm like, stop. God did his thing with that 4-year-old. Cease and desist. I do not need those prayers. Like, I'm good with that. But still, now that I'm here and my body's changing and I'm realizing that, even if I wanted to, it wouldn't be likely possible. And I'm living through, the signs and symptoms, and you feel away.
Yeah.
Because it's, am I still as much of a woman?
Yes.
As I have always been, So, I mean, I really don't have a lot of words for this because it is such a fresh discovery for me.
Okay.
That I'm still on a journey to understand it, and to understand what it means for me physically, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, even how it impacts my marriage. And we're going to talk about that in a later episode. But I'm still learning, y'all. That's all I got.
But you know what I love about the fact that you acknowledge that you're still learning is because I do feel like with the topic of menopause, we are at a space where we're finally ready to start having the conversations. It's not just you kind of run up on this thing and all of a sudden you get hot and you're having these hot flashes and it's the change.
Wait a minute, listen. So we did a photo shoot today. Now we are in South Florida, so it was legitimately hot.
Oh, that humidity.
But if y'all could have saw Kelly and I walking up and down the street with this fan,
that fan was life.
honey,
Life.
listen.
With 5 speeds. On speed 5.
I'm blowing me, I'm blowing her, baby. We like to pass out. I mean, it was a lot.
It was a lot. The pictures are fire. The video is fire. But my Lord, the beauty for the pain for the beauty.
I mean, and yes, it was hot outside, but it was also hot internally. Yes. I mean, this is an internal heat.
It is an internal summer. It is an internal HVAC system with no air conditioning. Just heat.
Just heat.
Just blasting heat in the middle of the summertime.
You wonder why I'm snapping, because I'm hot.
But I love the conversation because I feel like previously we wouldn't even have the conversation.
Yeah.
It was just this thing. And I love that you're like, hey, I'm being candid about the fact that I don't know what I don't know yet. I'm learning as I go, but I know I have arrived.
Right.
I am here.
She is here.
I am here. President accounted for whether I wanted to be signed up for this club or not. I am here. Okay. What's one stereotype about aging that you love to defy?
Woo. That's a good one.
That is a good one. There are 2, but I will say one of the stereotypes at the front of my mind would be gray hair. The stereotype around gray hair aging you, and that it's almost like the gray hair is kind of like the gateway to your demise.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got the gray hair.
You old.
You
ahead.
And for me, maybe my perspective is a little bit different because both of my parents started graying in their late teens and early 20s. So I likewise started graying in my mid 20s, I would say. So I was really young when my gray hair started coming in. And I was, I don't know, 65% gray by the time I was early 30s.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So I've had gray hair for a long time, and I've had plenty of conversations with girlfriends who've been like, yeah, so I'm going to keep coloring.
Yeah.
You go ahead and be in your silver fox era for your 30s and your 40s, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it cute and keep that color rolling.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. You are a trendsetter, and I think you are giving a lot of women a lot of courage to be free.
I appreciate that.
You know, if you choose. I mean, to each his own. Mm-hmm. But you are, I mean, look.
Ah, thank you.
Nothing. Listen, it's a hair color.
It is a hair color.
It literally is it's a hair color.
But to the point of that question, there's a stereotype.
There is.
And there's a stigma to that hair color that, you know, it's kind of the old, decrepit, you can't be fly, you can't be spicy, you can't be, you know, you have to tone everything down because the gray has arrived.
Yes.
The silver is on the scene.
And you are defying, that's what I'm saying. You are turning that myth on its head, like just as you exist.
I appreciate that.
Yes. Now, I am one of those people, I'm still coloring my grays. Mm-hmm. And mostly just because of how they're coming in. Like, you know, they're disrespectful. Like,
I mean, if you're going to come in,
just come all the way.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But, you know, this one wiry piece sticking out the front of my, you know, being disrespectful. But, you know, seeing examples like you, I think people like you, women like you, who are owning it and crushing it and hardly old. Mm-hmm. And fly and sexy and fully gray.
Yes. And that it's possible.
It is possible.
Yeah.
Like you didn't go sit down, in a wicker rocking chair in your 20s.
Yeah.
When your hair started graying.
Yeah. Because that's when I felt it was disrespectful. You know how you were just talking about that one.
Yeah.
Come on now. And they can be disrespectful. Gray hair could be really disrespectful. I felt it was disrespectful in my 20s. Like, really?
Yeah.
This is what we doing. We coming in the 20s. Like, I'm thinking like maybe like another 20 years from now. But I do think it's a stereotype that I love to defy.
Mm-hmm.
That you can, if you choose, as you mentioned, if it's something that you want to do, it doesn't have to predetermine your outlook on life, your life experience, because we deserve good things.
Yeah.
No matter what the color of our hair is, we deserve good things.
We deserve good things. Mm-hmm. We're going to do one more.
Okay.
All right. One more each, that is. Okay. What's your approach to discussing politics and social justice issues with friends and family? Child, listen. At this ripe age of 43, I always aim to be respectful of other people's opinions. But I have my own, and I'm not afraid to share them. But, for me at this age, there are just a lot of conversations I don't enter. There's just, let me put it this way. I protect my energy.
Okay. Now that is wisdom.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's something that I'm extremely passionate about and I feel like it's worth the expense of energy, I will engage in the conversation about politics, about religion. Especially about religion, because that is very important to me. But even within that, I respect other people's right to believe differently.
Yeah.
Now, I may disagree based on what I believe, but I'm not about to argue with you about it.
Not going to argue me down.
I'm not going to argue you down. Like, just you go, you have your belief, I have mine. And I'm learning to love people through conflict in the way that we show up, in the way that we believe, in the way there's, and I haven't always been that way. So what I'm saying is, to answer the question, there are certain times that I will engage in conversations that, can lead to some conflict. And there's certain times I just like to watch afar, and I'm just not going to do it because at 43, I'm picking my battles and I'm picking my confrontations. And I'm not expending energy on something. Now, if you want to go to the State House and maybe talk about something where people can make some change. Yeah. But us sitting around, going round and around on social media about certain stuff, like I'm just, I scroll and people think because I'm a lawyer that I'm going to get in it. I'm not. That's just not me. Yeah. I may have an opinion, but I'm just certain things I'm not going back and forth about.
Yeah. And I love that you've made that determination and that I'm not going, I know there used to be this statement of you match energy for energy. No, baby, because if that's not energy that's going to be good for me, I'm not trying to match it. And so what I hear you saying is, if this is something that I really feel like I'm going to lean in and provide my vantage point and perspective, then cool. But I'm completely comfortable scrolling on by. Yeah. Whether that's social media or in life.
Yeah, on the phone with family. The question was about family. Listen, I will change the subject so fast on you, your hair will spin.
Like, wait a minute, I thought we were just talking about...
I'm not even acknowledging. So what'd you say you cooked for dinner last night? No, I was asking you if you saw... I said, what'd you cook for dinner last night?
Did you have the cabbage? Or did you decide to do the...
Baby, I'm the master of it. I will change. You would not know what happened. I'm just not doing it. Especially when I know that you are baiting or goading me into a confrontational experience. Not doing it.
Because I deserve good things.
Because I deserve good things.
And part of those good things
is my peace. And you're quiet.
Heavy on the you're quiet.
You're quiet.
Okay, last question for this round. How do you address racial biases within the healthcare system as a Black woman over 40? Great question. So I'll give you a recent example. When I lived in DC, I had an OBGYN for 16, 17 years. Same OBGYN. He was actually a white male. Great relationship. That's all I knew. When I moved here, I've had a bumpier ride with my OBGYN. The first OBGYN that I had, I was experiencing a lot of really heavy bleeding. This is No Filter Femme.
No filter.
Heavy bleeding, cramping, clotting, just a lot of challenges that were abnormal. Abnormal for me. Not that they were necessarily abnormal, but they were abnormal for me. And I began sharing those with my initial OBGYN, and it was really kind of, there wasn't a lot of weight put behind it. Because I knew it was abnormal for me, I needed someone who was willing to lean in and find out what's going on. So I actually shifted to a different OBGYN who I really liked. It was actually a Black woman, and she retired. And I'd only been with her for maybe a year, maybe 2. And so I was kind of back at square one with, well, do I return to my former OBGYN who had been, caring for me for a few years, or do I explore other options? Baby, that exploration process. I remember going in for my annual exam, and the doctor said to me, so how did you end up with me? Now, this was our first conversation. Now, every woman know at your annual, this is one of the most vulnerable physical
Oh my goodness.
spaces. It's a very intimate space. And so his initial question of how did you get to me, I was a bit taken aback, not really wanting to crack open my legs at that particular time. So he could go digging. And he wanted to know how I came across him. And I said, well, I'd actually done a lot of research, and, the reviews are really good. And I thought, and I prefer actually a more seasoned doctor because I would like you to have life experiences. I have just found that to work really well for my care and benefit. And this was our introduction into this very intimate time. And needless to say, I didn't go back. And I now have a different OBGYN. Now we're on, like number 4 at this point. But to the question, I do feel like there are systemic, we could even go down the statistics and the numbers and the rates and all the things, right? But just even from personal experience and experience of my girlfriends and people and women, Black women in particular over 40 that I know, there are very real disparities. We are typically viewed as being very strong and resilient. And so when we say, hey.
And confrontational.
And when we say this is outside of the norm for me, it's not given the weight of other people, groups of women. It's like, there's really kind of a, head tilt, like, she may be kind of over exaggerating because she's confrontational, because, there's something to be said. And I think that us really leaning in, standing 10 toes down.
Have to.
And saying, either you're not the medical professional, this is not going to be a good partnership. But I am not willing, because I deserve good things, I am not willing to settle for anything less than figuring out what is going on in my body. This is abnormal for me, and we need to figure it out.
And part of that, knowing that you deserve good things, is knowing that you can move on from your healthcare professional.
That is so good.
Because we stay sometimes because we don't feel like we have options. Baby, there are options. It might take some work and some exploration, as you had to do. But part of that is knowing that you are worth good care.
So true.
And if you feel uncomfortable with your medical professional, move on. Until you find someone that can meet all of your needs, because you're literally putting your lives in someone else's hands, and you need to be able to trust them.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up
Oh, that was good. That was
episode
good.
2 of No Filter Femme. We talked about knowing whether or not, do you deserve good things?
Yeah.
Answering that affirmatively, yes, but then talking through all of the signs and symptoms that you might not really believe that, and how you can start to turn your thoughts and your mind around to pivot and make space to define that for yourself.
So here's a challenge as we make space and define that for ourselves. You know, one of the questions on the table was, in what ways are we contributing to our own life narrative? So I have a challenge.
Okay.
We talked earlier about the 10 minutes. And I'm even going to do this myself because I'm talking to me about this one too. I would like us to implement 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
If that may seem so incredibly overwhelming, perhaps the implementation is 10 minutes 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Maybe start with the 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, whatever that time frame looks like for each of us. And then work your way up to 5.
Yeah.
And then work your way up to 7, because I agree with you. When I'm really dedicated and setting aside that time for me at the top of the day.
At the top of the day. That's important.
I'm giving me the best and the freshest part. I'm giving me the best and the freshest part of the day. I notice a difference as well when I just take that time. So 10-minute challenge.
You heard it.
Even if we start with 3 times a week of just being, not doing. And you may have to consciously bring your mind back to just being.
Yeah.
If you find yourself drifting off.
Oh, you will definitely have to, because you will drift.
Because it's new. It may be, or it's been a while, but bringing our minds back to, for 10 minutes, just being.
So we want to hear about how you are moving through this challenge.
Yeah.
Drop us a comment on our social media. And if you love this episode, like and share with other folks so that they can become a part of this community. And more importantly, leave us a review so that we can know how we're doing and how we can continue to make No Filter Femme better for you. And let's continue to uplift and support each other.
Absolutely. Are we going on to now episode 3?
Yes.
I'm excited about episode 3.
What are we talking about?
I'm going to keep people in suspense.
Okay.
But what I will say is we've got some friends that are going to join us for the conversation. We're going to have different perspectives. We're going to shake things up a little bit and see how, as we add more voices to the conversation, what that dialogue looks like.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
So until next time, keep striving, keep believing, and remembering that you deserve good things. No filter, just real talk. Goodbye.
Goodbye.